Our guest today is considered an institution in the art of underwater photography. He has won awards left and right with his detailed and captivating images of marine life. Joining us live in the studio is acclaimed underwater photographer Scott Gutsy Tuason. It's a beautiful day, Gutsy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's get started first with how this all began for you. Of course, we'll go through your work later on, but I just want to know a bit about the origin story. Just what got you in the water in the first place, and what got you taking photos of what's happening underwater?
Bro, pretty much ever since I can remember, when I was, maybe 3, 4, 5 years old. I mean, I've always been interested in marine life. My kids' books were like Time Life books with sharks and fish and everything. It wasn't a run, spot, run or anything like that. And then obviously my parents took me to the beach and, got me a mask and looked underwater. And then from there just escalated into, my dad took up diving in 1976, and then he took me on his back, in 1977 or 78, something like that, when I was like 9. And I finally got my, it wasn't a license, but I got my own gear at 11.
Yeah.
And then I got certified when I was 12.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I became an instructor in 1990. And my first camera was 1985.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, when I was in high school. And I've been barely able to take a bath without it ever since. I mean, I just take I take that thing everywhere when I go diving, yeah.
I was telling Scott earlier in the makeup room that we were looking at some of your photos yesterday, and I was just blown away by the images of the marine life, the sharks and everything. And I was dying to ask this question. Have you ever had like a close encounter with a shark or anything that really put your life in danger? The scary parts of being there.
Actually, when we spoke, I said not really, but then I remembered there was one incident.
Okay.
That I remember in Tubataha, where I was in like 7 meters. It was the end of the dive, and I was kind of separated from the group. And out of the shallows, when I had my back turned from the shallow area, this 4 meter, 5 meter, big tiger shark.
Wow.
Just went straight at me.
Oh my God.
At a pretty good
Scary.
And I was looking in the blue, and I just happened to turn around, and I just saw this thing just going zing, making a beeline for me. And at first I thought it was a whale shark.
Yeah.
It was so big, right? A small whale shark. And I was like, oh, it's a tiger.
Yeah.
But my first instinct is like to take its photo. And normally with marine life, they don't like to be challenged.
Right. Yes.
So
yes.
I don't know. I don't think it wasn't going to probably bite me. It was probably going to just like he was very interested in it. And since I wasn't looking at the animal, and they're ambush predators, that's when they like to sneak up on you. Right?
Yeah.
And,
oh my goodness, I would panic.
and then I just went bing, 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 bing.
Real quick.
He was like right there.
Pray that he doesn't
His
attack.
snout was like that big.
Wow.
Oh,
And,
man.
Great photos, though.
Oh,
And
man.
then the photos were, pretty good.
Just the memories.
But the thing is, that animal also got just as scared as I did.
Aw,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then turned around and
He
just
zipped away.
it even made it like a little bit of a sonic boom.
Oh, really?
Because he whacked his tail so hard and fast.
Oh my God.
Aw.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people actually don't know, I did get certified for diving, just a beginner. So I do dive sometimes when I have time. And I know diving at night, actually, diving at night is scary for me. Because when you're underwater and there's no light at all, I feel very claustrophobic.
Yeah,
so I want to know how you take photos at night and how do you prepare for them?
So in what was it, like 2012 or 2011, I went to Hawaii, and the dive company there was offering this thing called Pelagic Magic, and it was a night dive in the middle of the ocean. And you're like 4 or 5 nautical miles offshore, and it's about 4,000 meters deep. Oh my God. Obviously, you're not going to 4,000, right? But you're just suspended there.
Yeah.
And it was an idea that I'd seen in one of my I got a book in high school called Within a Rainbowed Sea, and there was this photographer, Chris Newbert, who sort of got some images in Hawaii doing night dive in the middle of the ocean. I was just like, holy moly, that's really scary, right?
It is.
Yeah.
But it's always kind of intrigued me. And then when I finally did it, when I was in Hawaii, I was just like, wow, this is really fascinating, because you don't see things that you normally see on a day dive, and you don't certainly, and they're not creatures that are found on the reef.
Right.
If they're found on the reef, they're in a different stage of life. They're in the larval, it's much safer to be out in the middle of the ocean. If you're a larval, let's say Moorish idol, or, you know, or rather than be on the reef and get eaten by all the predators there, they'll take their chances out there.
Oh,
So yeah, so that's so you get to see a lot of reef creatures that are not in their developed stage yet, and then you get to see stuff that just won't go near the reef. They go from the bottom and they come up at night, and then when the sun starts to come out,
They go back
down. Yeah, they stay in the 200-meter range, depending what animal.
Cool.
All right,
Yeah.
so Gutsy, what we're gonna do here is that we're gonna use this big LED here, and you're gonna, well, walk us through some of the stuff that you've shot in the past. So we're gonna pull up some of the photos. We're gonna have here an image of a rabbit fish and a jellyfish. I think that.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
that is so cool.
So that's it's been in the news lately. That's a box jellyfish. And I took that image in Aurora province that's on the Pacific side. I was doing a book there for the Angaras and their governor at the time. Yeah, and so that is and that's a larval rabbit fish.
Yeah.
Right, and a wasp or a box jellyfish, and he's a jellyfish doesn't have any eyes, or doesn't have the eyes that we have, but it's got all these sensories around it, and it's actually quite the aggressive predator. It goes towards you. That's I can understand why people get stung by them, because it doesn't try to avoid people. It actually goes towards you.
Yeah, it looks for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if you're, and I've seen that also happen where, so at the end of this photo, that rabbit fish is up inside the bell and starting to get consumed.
And you can see it.
Yeah, you can see it, right?
It's totally clear.
And what does that jellyfish do? After that whole thing, he lays out his tentacles and starts hunting again.
Yes.
And I'm just
Violent
like,
creatures.
where are you putting it all? Right? So that was quite a,
Oh, that's
pretty
incredible. So
Yeah.
next up we have this one. It's a close-up.
Was this one of your encounters?
No,
You almost died?
No idea how you
It's
took
like
that.
from
That's
the Jaws
insane. That's like a Jaws poster right there.
So that's taken in South Australia. And,
oh my God, that's so scary.
Shark
a lot
cage?
of shark encounters. You need some sort of chumming,
Yeah.
right? If you they do it all over the world.
That's on my bucket list, actually.
There's natural encounters, but if people run trips specifically for, let's say, great whites, there is going to be chum, but it's very controlled in Australia. You can't chum for more than 1 hour, and there's all these rules. And if the sharks get too aggressive, there's a timeout, and they stop chumming and let the sharks calm down a bit. Right?
Yeah.
So this is one of the sharks there that's just coming in to bite the cage and sample it. Obviously, I'm in it, and you definitely don't want to go out of the cage in this situation.
Yeah.
The sharks are
You don't say.
they're very amped up.
It's ready to eat you.
All right.
Because
So
it's not necessarily a death sentence if you see a great white in the wild.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
It's not going to go right at you and kill you, right? It's
yeah.
I just don't want to encounter
You
one.
don't.
I
But
don't
if,
know, yeah.
But if they're jacked up like that,
Right.
you would bait and stuff.
then
You know,
Yeah.
movies don't give them the greatest rap either.
no, they don't get the best.
Yeah, they don't get the
Right.
best rap.
Jaws.
I mean, growing
Sharknado.
up watching Jaws, I'm like, okay.
I'm traumatized with that
Exactly.
movie.
Interesting. My first great white shark trip was with Peter Benchley, the author of Jaws.
Wow, that is so
In 2004.
amazing.
Wow, that's insane.
Before he died. He died in
Okay,
2005, but yeah, it
Wow.
was I think it was his last, because he became an advocate for sharks and he went
Yeah,
on shark
afterwards,
trips and
yeah.
everything. We just so happened to be in the same one in San Diego.
Wow, that's
That is
insane.
so cool.
All right, so this next one is driftfish and pyro, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that is
That is
so
such a cool
nice.
So that's a
wow.
colony of animals called the pyrosome. Right? It's
Where was
basically millions of taken in Anilao
Okay.
on a blackwater dive.
Oh, wow. Okay, wait, I
And
see it.
so that pyrosome creates a refuge for a lot of these larval and creatures that are in the blue, right? That when they grow up. So here's a larval trevally, which is a jack talakitok, and he's just finding refuge inside the pyrosome.
That's such an adorable
And
photo.
there's also shrimp.
so close
it looks
up.
like
Yeah,
it looks
my
like it's being
goodness.
eaten, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought at
No,
first.
he's actually finding refuge in there. You'll see sometimes you'll see shrimp, you'll see maybe some larval crabs also living on that pyrosome, hitching a ride with it.
All right, and the next one we have is a diamond squid.
Oh, the
Oh,
diamond
that
squid.
colors are
Gorgeous.
beautiful.
Yeah, this definitely won't. He's a deep water squid, open water. That's just one of the colors. I mean, they come in rainbow,
Yeah.
all copper. I mean, he was just in a red phase when I took this photo because he's constantly changing. But yeah, this is one of my favorite animals to shoot in black water, the diamond squid.
It's so pretty.
Beautiful, beautiful animal.
Yeah, and
not that common,
Yeah. And the next one we have here, a school of fish from a dive in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
It's a
So
tornado fish.
Yeah, so last year I went to Magdalena Bay on the Pacific side of Baja, Mexico, and they have the sardines show up there, and then hunting the sardines are bonitos, mahi-mahi, and what we really wanted to see was the marlin.
Yeah.
So you got these hundreds of marlin, thousands of marlin just feeding on bait balls. And so what happens is when the predators corral all the sardines, they ball up really tight for protection, right?
Yeah.
So it almost creates like a tornado. But one of the cool things was there's a school of bonito right under there.
Yeah, right
And
there.
once the bonito decide that they're gonna attack it, it becomes like a conveyor belt of bonitos
Taking turns, yeah.
taking turns, and there's this sound, this rattling sound, which actually attracts whales to come and feed.
Wow.
But that little ball will be gone in like a few minutes. It's so fast.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
incredible.
it's quite a sight to see.
Yeah, you also have this book called Anilao 25, right?
Yes.
It's actually the 25th anniversary
Yeah,
edition of
so-
this book. Can you tell us a bit more
I
about
love
it?
the photo.
Especially
25
with,
years ago, me and another photographer, Eduardo Cunhin, came out with the Anilao, a book called Anilao. We shot that on film. It was still old school color separation printing press that
Yeah.
published by Bookmark. That book went on to win the Palme d'Or at the World Festival of Underwater Images in France.
Yeah.
Right, and actually kind of put Anilao on the map as far as underwater photography goes, because most people in the 90s in the Philippines assumed Anilao was really just a place where you got certified, and it was just it was close, but they didn't realize it's top 3 in the world for macro photography.
Now,
right?
Scott, I know most people, they've just probably seen your work just now, but what they don't know is that every day they actually do see your
They
work
come
because
across my whale shark.
yes, because on the back of the 100 peso bill, the butanding, the whale shark,
Yeah.
you shot that.
Yep.
How
and
did
I
this
made
come
billions from
about?
it. Just
No
kidding.
way.
Hindi, hundreds
I made
lang.
nothing.
He's made hundreds from this.
How did that come about? This is so cool.
I was at the time I was working with a studio or a design group that was bidding for the new 100 peso for the new currency, right?
Yeah.
That was 2009 or 10.
Yeah, because
Yes.
we just switched currencies
Yeah.
this year too.
And so and then we were also talking about doing a book which was called Notes from the Sea at the time. So when they saw my underwater images, they were like, and then the animal was the theme for so they said, well, when we submit the designs, we're going to use your photos for the 100 peso bill. So I think that company won the 100 and the 20 peso.
I need to get this signed by you.
Yeah.
Who I borrow this
I
from?
know it's going to be out of currency.
Mine
The
now.
new,
You
cannot.
the new bills are
You
going.
can't actually.
Legally, you
can.
cannot.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, now you know. So
I was gonna frame it.
I
We
was
just
gonna say Scott earned.
Or it won't be legal,
billion-
or it's illegal to actually sign it.
because you can't deface it
You can't.
technically.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll just tape like a paper here that you can sign.
Well, we won't do it on air.
I was gonna say Scott earned billions in 100 peso denomination
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
of your work. But what's next for you, Scott?
Yeah, so the Anilao 25 book, 25th anniversary. It's shot in digital. It's a new digital printing process. Not digital printing, it's still offset, but it's digital as well, right? And so I'm going to launch that in September. It's been quite a slow process, and that's a cool cover, but actually there's going to be 25 different covers.
Wow.
For each year.
Okay.
All right, so that's probably the next book I'm getting.
Yeah,
but
same.
thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
For sharing all your
it's
work.
been a while since I've
That was
been on
fun.
TV live.
Yeah.
I like it live.
We really appreciate you.
Yeah.
He's a wildlife, a marine photographer, Scott Gutsy Tuason. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.